I'm just gonna talk. Let's see how this goes. Hey guys, it's Samantha. Today I just wanted to do a sit and chat and talk about what minimalism means to me. Firstly, I wanted to go over what I feel a lot of people think minimalism is. So basically, I think a lot of people seem to think minimalism is just like an extreme way of living where you just don't own much of anything. And if you do own anything, it's like just your basic necessities. And obviously that doesn't sound exactly fun for a lot of people, including myself. If that's how I viewed minimalism, I probably wouldn't be doing this. Or, especially now, there's this big minimalism trend, so they feel like it's this aesthetic. So there's a lot of people wearing minimalist outfits or minimalism fashion trends that are very simple silhouettes or very monochromatic, a lot of black and white. Certain brands have adopted minimalism into their collection or for their marketing strategy. And yeah, I guess that could be minimalism for a lot of people, which is fine, but that puts people in a box. And that sort of makes it so minimalism isn't accessible to everyone, because not everyone has that aesthetic or that style that they want to portray. And it's not exactly what makes them happy. Because to me, minimalism isn't really about the way something looks physically. To me, minimalism is more of an idea or a belief. I think it's a movement, it's a lifestyle, and at the end of the day, it's a journey. That's what it is to me. And what I mean by that is that you can adopt minimalism in any stage of life that you're in and any taste that you have. There's no specific taste to minimalism, if that makes sense. Minimalism is inclusive and it's welcoming. It is open for anybody. Okay, so with that being said, I'll talk about what it truly means to me and how I feel about minimalism, how I apply it to my life. To me, minimalism is actually self-care, and I feel like it's the biggest form of self-care that you can have. I use it as a form of self-care to make sure that whatever I'm doing in my life or whatever I'm allowing into my life, it's only what will bring me value or what will make me happy. It's not necessarily that you can't have things that you don't need. That's, I think a lot of people have this idea that you can only have what you need 100% and you're not a true minimalist, or you have too much of one thing, you're not a minimalist. And I don't subscribe to that idea. And if you do, that's cool. And a lot of people do, and that's totally fine. I personally don't like the judgment aspect that people bring into minimalism. I would love to remove that, and my community that I want to form here and the people that I want to allow into my minimalism space, I guess you can call it, or my little YouTube community here, are people who will not bring judgment into how others view their life and how others live as minimalists or not as minimalists. That's not what this is about. There is no judgment and there is no perfectionism when it comes to minimalism, or even anything in life for that matter. But specifically minimalism, there isn't a one size fits all. There's no one way to be a minimalist. Because honestly, there can't be one way to be a minimalist, because in my opinion, minimalism is a form of, like I said, self-care, which is what you want to bring into your life in a positive way. And how can there be a one-size-fits-all for happiness or positivity if everyone's different? Everyone finds joy in different things. For example, some people love physical copies of books, and some people, that's something that they feel within their soul, you know? And so I would never say you can't have that or you're not a minimalist if you don't quit collecting books, because that's what they feel makes them who they are and what they love, and at the end of the day, well, makes them happy, right? But that can apply to anything: makeup, stamp collecting, gaming. So that's a journey for them to find for themselves, right? Everybody has to find their journey on their own. can't force it on anyone. Your idea of what makes you happy may be completely different from what I want in my space. So that's what I'm saying. Like, minimalism is only bring what brings you joy. So if I'm going shopping for something, I have to really think, is this something I love? Is this something that I truly want into my life? And if it wasn't in my life right now or whatever, I would have a little piece of me missing. And obviously that can be a very extreme question, and I can't really apply that to every single thing that I purchase. But the idea is that you're not spending money mindlessly, and that this object, every time you come across it, there's a spark of joy. And it doesn't have to be so apparent, but there is that little something in you that feels something for this object. And that can even go for something as simple as buying paper clips, you know? I know it sounds so silly, but for me, like, if I have like paperwork that I need to have organized, those paper clips really mean something to me at that moment. And when I pass by it, I know, hey, this is bringing value to my life. This is creating a more cohesive space. This is creating a more organized structure in my work environment, or just in my general paper use, I guess. So that's sort of an example of what I mean by only bring things that you love and bring value to your life. And in terms of my social, I guess, life and the relationships that I have, the people I interact with, I also look at that through a minimalist lens, in the sense that I'm not going to waste my time on people that make me feel uncomfortable or make me feel bad in any way, or just judgmental or inauthentic or just mean-spirited. I don't like to waste my time on people of that nature. So that's something that I stay away from. So since with minimalism, these are things that I'm actively trying to pare down from what is negative or useless to what is positive and happy for me, or improving my life in some way, then that's self-care, because that's what self-care is. I mean, self-care is making sure you're taking care of yourself. And so minimalism is that way of taking care of myself and allowing just love into my life. When I talk about self-care, I want to extend that to the world as well, because if the world wasn't being taken care of, then there's no way that I myself would be taken care of, because we sort of rely on this collective unit of people, and the universe sort of is working in tandem, right? So I want to do what I can for the earth. And I touched on this in my Progress Not Perfection video, on how we should strive to save the planet through progress not perfection. Automatically, I feel like if you're a minimalist, you're already contributing to that. You're already helping keep the planet from wasting resources, just from the sole fact that when you're not buying something that you would have otherwise, you're already saving the resources that it took to create that item, and the resources that it took to bring that item into the store shelf. So automatically, I feel like minimalism is already saving the world in some form, whether it's a smaller scale or a grander scale. So for me, that's another important part of minimalism. I try to be as mindful as I can about the waste that I produce with what I buy or what I bring into my life. And that's another way I look at minimalism as well. And some people don't necessarily look at it that way, but whether they know it or not, they're already helping the environment in some form. So that's what minimalism means to me. I hope you guys got something out of this video. I don't know if it was relevant to you or not, but I would love to know if you did get value from it, and maybe you have a better understanding of minimalism now. If you have a different idea of minimalism, or you live your life a different way, I would love to know that too, if you care to share. So yeah, let me and anybody else know in the comment box below. Until next time, I hope you have a good one. And as always, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Bye.